Okay, Recon's video on Sunday, the 4th of December 2022. It's just gone 9:33 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So, time for another weekend futures market recap video where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I am seeing on my charts. Quite an interesting week. Back to a full week of trading after last week's kind of compressed trading because of Thanksgiving. Going to go through the Emini charts first, from the daily chart down to the 15 before getting to the tick bar chart. So let's start on the daily chart of the Emini. So this is our traditional view of the better indicators, where we've got two panels side by side, everything to do with volume on the left hand side, everything to do with price on the right hand side. On the left hand side we've got better momentum here, which is a volume based momentum indicator, and on the price bars we've got better pro-am, which is using the average trade size to identify professional and amateur activity. Professionals in blue, amateurs in yellow. And on the right hand side, everything to do with price, and we're using better sine wave here below the price bars to calculate the cyclical activity in 3 different time frames. And so breaks of those cyclical resistance and supports kind of give us trending signals, and we get uptrends and strength marked in red and downtrends and weakness marked in white. So with this week's activity, we started out weak because if you'll recall, at the end of last week we had some Rambo patterns into the close on Friday, and I said wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of weakness from the Rambo patterns. Rambo patterns stand for potential reversal of an amateur breakout, RAMBO. And it just means that the move is being led by the amateurs and is a little bit suspect, and we could get some weakness from that. Sometimes they turn out to be turning points, but in this case we just had some weakness, and then we had some employment numbers come out midweek and we kind of rallied from there. So we've ended the week up pretty strong, and you can see that the background here is printed in red, and what that means is that we have uptrends confirmed on both the price and volume charts. So we've broken above our trailing stop on better pro-am here, and we've also got red background bar, painted bars here showing that we're in an uptrend. So we've got a confirmed uptrend on both different time frames. So the big picture is that we're putting in this big kind of pullback to end of trend kind of signal. If you look at this thicker lines here on this chart, we broke into our large uptrend a couple of years ago. We topped out with a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, then pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, got our weakness here, and then we've come into support, which is a pullback and an uptrend. You can see the pullback level there printed by this thick line. We are running out the clock in terms of pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame here on the daily chart. So that's big picture what is going on. We've got to go make that pullback to end of trend. When these two lines, the thick lines, kind of go parallel like that means we are in a trending mode. Uptrends and downtrends, same thing. We're in an uptrend because the bars are red, but it means we're kind of trending here. We're breaking above resistance on the lowest time frame. We've hit resistance on the intermediate time frame, but these things are going to be broken eventually, and we're going to go see pullback to end of trends similar to this type of activity at those highs to test wherever it goes to, 4,700, whatever. So big picture, we're in an uptrend, and we will eventually kind of break through these resistances. Whether we're going to have a little bit of profit taking in the meantime, though, that is the question. So let's back it down to the 135-minute chart. You can see this is the end of last week's activity, and the reason why I said we were going to have some weakness at the beginning of the week, or potentially some weakness at the beginning of the week, because we had Rambo patterns. So the amateurs were driving the activity up here. It's a little bit suspect. I'm always looking for kind of the low of the sequence of those amateur bars to get broken for a change in trend, but we didn't get that. We bounced off those lows kind of down there, amateur down bars into that, just testing, and then we had the employment numbers come out, which caused this kind of huge, I think it was a sell-off and then a rally in the market. So we've come up to the highs, 4,100. We're in an uptrend. We've got pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. This has got to play itself out. We've got to go support to resistance on the highest time frame here. And up at these highs, what have we got? Momentum's just showing us, nothing going on in terms of signals, no exhaustion signals, no kind of bearish divergence signals. Yes, we played off the Rambo patterns here, and we found weakness here with amateur down bars, and we tested off that and kind of bounced up, but no blue professional bars taking profits or anything like that. So on the 135-minute chart, nothing to suggest that we're getting a getting extended. Go down to the 45-minute chart, and then things get a little bit interested. You can see here we have some blue professional bars at 4,100 kind of come in. We've had pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, and we've now got a second cyclical turn after end of trend. So it's the kind of area where we have potentially a little bit of profit taking and some weakness. So we could potentially kind of head off those blue professional bars. It wasn't an exhaustion pattern on this time frame, but we would be caught if we had some weakness from here when we get these two lines, the thick lines on the highest time frame, kind of coming together for a pullback to end of trend on that 45-minute chart. Then we finally go down to the 15-minute chart. Yep, here we're starting to see exhaustion by bearish divergence. Blue professional bars into those highs, kind of taking profits, and we're under the shadow of those kind of blue professional bars up here at 4100. I think that high is 4110. Yeah, you can just, it's off the screen, but SR2 is 4110, kind of up there. So I think we're still on this chart, you know, in an uptrend. Obviously 40.55, this intermediate support would be absolutely key, kind of Sunday into Monday, Tuesday. But potentially we could go in and, you know, go support to resistance. This move on these highs, yep, we had a pullback to end of trend and we had some resistance there. We've actually had no end of trend moves on this 15-minute chart. So, you know, if we broke through this resistance on the lowest time frame and then go put in a pullback to end of trend, potentially above that 4110 level. So we're still in an uptrend and we haven't seen still in an uptrend and we haven't seen end of trend signals on the 15-minute chart. So yeah, we're playing under that, the shadow of those blue professional bars and the bearish divergence, but I think we're going to head up and not kind of come down until we see those pullback to end of trends. But let's wait and see. You know, it could be the 40.55 level is absolutely key. So I have kind of take it from there. So the E-mini, big picture, we're in an uptrend. We're keeping going, so there's going to be moves kind of backwards and forwards, but whether it sets off kind of early this week or later on this week, it potentially is later on this week until we see the 15-minute chart kind of doing something there. That's our minute charts, daily down to minute charts on the E-mini. Let us look at the tick bar chart. So first of all, the E-mini on a tick bar chart, 13,500 is my preferred kind of chart there. This view of the indicators is everything all in one, kind of the best of the indicators all in one chart. And the advantage of doing that is we have all three indicators that we can generate triple signals from. So when all three non-correlated indicators, better momentum, better priam, better sine wave, kind of come together, we get short and long signals here. The triples are signaled with these dotted lines, red dotted lines for long signals. We have a cluster here and a cluster here. Reversal signals and short signals are white dotted lines, none on this chart here. And I marked the beginning and the end of weeks with the vertical yellow lines here. You can see this is last week's activity, or the week before. That was the Thanksgiving week. So less activity than normal because of the kind of reduced trade during the Thanksgiving week. But we started off this week having had those Rambo patterns on the 45 and the 15-minute charts. We had a little bit of weakness and we kind of sold off Sunday into Monday. On the E-mini last week, and then we came into a whole bunch of triple signals going off here. So we were oversold on better sine wave, and that's the background printed in red. We had exhaustion sell bullish divergence come in on better momentum, and then we started breaking above the trailing stop behind the blue professional bars here, and so that area kind of held and we had a nice rally from there. Come into 4100s, we've got exhaustion by bearish divergence, we've broken below the trailing stop here. This was the employment numbers kind of coming out, but the background is not printed in gray here or white, so it's not overbought yet. So that's why this triple signal hasn't gone off for a reversal at that point. So let's wait and see. Blue professional bars kind of coming at the end of the day on Friday. Let's see where we go. My guess is we're going to keep on going up a little bit higher until we maybe kind of get some signals short. But on the E-mini, that's been quite good signals this week from that the low into the high. 10 years. This week's activity, so from the middle of last week we had triple signals long into those highs. We kind of came down a little bit, a reversal signal here, but that was just playing off exhaustion by bearish divergence, which are kind of in the wrong spot. They should have been over these bars here, so could possibly negate that. Blue professional bars kind of coming at the lows where we had our triple signals before. We break into an uptrend, bang, and we're still on an uptrend on the 10-year notes. Even after the sell-off, you know, the trailing stop has not been trailed behind. We've got no blue professional bars at the highs. Exhaustion patterns, yep, but no blue professional bars. So the 10 years, we're still on an uptrend there. Let me show you gold and silver, because I had a good trade in gold and got out of it too early. So I was long last week into gold, and it was based off this signal that we got coming into the end of last week's activity. It was pretty jumpy during the first couple of days of the week, and then these blue professional bars kind of came in with exhaustion sell here, bang, and it took off to the upside. And I got out of my position way too early and got into the euro instead. So I still made money on a long trade into this high, but it wasn't in gold. But gold's still in an uptrend, and those blue professional bars taking off here with a classic kind of stair step with exhaustion sell. The beauty of the exhaustion sell signals is it shows us that a whole bunch of volume is sold out here and is either short or flat. And so when the market reverses, that causes them to kind of jump back into the market, and that's what kind of fuels the rally. But up at the highs here, some pretty severe profit taking here with exhaustion sells, but no blue professional bars up there. So we're still technically in an uptrend on gold. Silver, same thing, kind of followed along. And the signals from last week were earlier into this long trade. So that was the Thanksgiving week. There's our triple signal here. We have this weakness to test into those lows, and then bang, it kind of took off to the upside here. Here a little bit more profit taking though, blue professional bars at the highs, but the trailing stop is still quite a ways away. So let's see, silver still kind of pushing higher, but there might be some more profit taking on silver. So I took my trade in the euro instead. So this is this week's activity in the euro. Last week's activity, or the Thanksgiving week, was pretty interesting. Another triple signal into these highs, which was great. I played into that one as well. And then this week I dumped my gold trade, and as soon as I saw this pattern, kind of got into euro long and took profits at 105.4 up here at the highs, which was nice. But it was this U-turn on the blue professional bars, all these blue professional bars kind of selling it down and then picking it up here at these lows, bang, and we get our triple signal, and that was a really fast move into the highs. No blue professional bars kind of taking profits on the euro at the highs here. There's the employment number kind of comes out, and this thing sinks like a rock, but the blue professional bars kind of step in at the lows here, and then we have a classic little test here. On the test, on the move back down into those lows, the professionals step in again, bang, and we kind of rally up to those highs again. So euro is still strong because of that, and I think all the other currencies kind of followed along. Yep, so this week there's that signal, the sell-off, and then the U-turn. Blue professional bars on the British pound kind of buying that exhaustion low, triple signals into the highs. So that's kind of good on the British pound. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar a little bit weaker up here. So we've got exhaustion by bearish divergence. This would have been the same kind of U-turn kind of pattern here. So a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of buy it up, and some profit taking up here at the highs. But I'm not going to be taking a short trade in the Aussie. I've talked about this before, because they're all going to move in sync unless starting to see short signals on all of the different forex kind of contracts together. Japanese yen, yeah, beautiful signals a couple of weeks ago. Exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, oversold, blue professional bars. We break the trailing stop, bang, there's our triple signal, bang into those highs. Another one here at the close of last week, and then blue professional bars kind of step in on that little weakness there, and then we kind of set off to the upside. So it's kind of good on Japanese yen. So there's still an uptrend, all of those currencies. US dollar is kind of weakening, but let's see if there's some profit taking kind of going on at those highs in the next couple of days on the forex kind of contracts. So I've showed you those, gold and silver. What's going on Bitcoin? Bitcoin exhaustion, sell bullish divergence kind of comes in, 16,000, triple signal goes off. One a little bit early at these highs, and we're kind of playing around. Interesting, the last signal that we've had at the end of this week was a long signal with blue professional bars coming at the lows. You can see there was no blue professional bars up here, here, and here. So then when you get the blue professional bars coming in on that little sell-off and that whole area holding, that's kind of good. And that's why we're kind of rallying at the moment up, kind of testing 17,000 on Bitcoin. So let's see if that kind of continues on for a rally in Bitcoin for the early part of the week. Now, crude signals this week long after exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. Not many blue professional bars kind of down here at the lows, but they did kind of come in on this retrace here. whole family kind of coming in here with these signs of strength. That's what the red arrows are. And so we're still on an uptrend on crude because no blue professional bars at the highs, no exhaustion buy. We've just kind of come into overbought on better sine wave with the background in grey. That's all that's going on there. So crude still in an uptrend. Natural gas, whoa, big kind of move back down to the $6 level. We had a nice signal here into those highs, but no blue professional bars during the Thanksgiving week at those highs. They just kind of took profits, kind of kept down. That was a nice stair-step trade to get in short on this move. So the blue professional bars are selling it down here. We come back into that zone and they sell it down again with blue professional bars. We know they're selling it down because we break the lows of that sequence and the stair-step trade kind of continues down. So natural gas is weak, crude is strong, and copper, no signals really over the last 2 or 3 weeks that kind of help us. No, kind of exhaustion buy, blue professional bars at those highs. Not much in terms of blue professional bars at the lows. I mean, they sell it down, they force it down, the professionals here and kind of step in again, and it kind of rallies from there, but no signals on copper. Now the ags, I'm actually long at the end of this week into wheat, and I'll show you wheat first. The signal was a little bit earlier on in the week, but we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of come in here. Exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence kind of comes in, oversold. We haven't broken this level, 770 though, for a confirmed signal, and I've got in a little bit earlier here, so I'm under a little bit of pressure, taking some heat at the moment on this trade. But that's a whole family of blue professional bars coming in at the lows of wheat. So let's see if we get a rally in wheat this week. Soybeans, they were topped out last week at 1480 here with exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, whole bunch of blue professional bars taking profits here and then getting the move going, and this kind of crashed down here, but we've got some blue professional bars kind of holding it at the moment. And then lastly corn. So corn's looking a little bit more like wheat, a whole bunch of blue professional bars, bullish divergence, oversold. So but the pattern on wheat is a little bit closer to the bottom. It's almost like a double bottom being made here, kind of testing in at those lows. So yeah, let's go back to that corn chart. So it's slightly different here. We've still got some weakness in corn, but let's see if we see some more blue professional bars kind of coming out at the lows, trail the stop down and have a triple signal long. So last couple of videos said not much been going on in ags, but when the moves are played out in the Forex and the E-mini, the kind of the bigger markets, then I'd start looking at the smaller markets for kind of good trending opportunities when things like the Forex markets are fussing around, kind of taking profits after a nice kind of explosive move, and that move. So that's why I've kind of taken a trade in the ags at the end of this last week. So there we go, quick rip around the charts. Still bullish on the E-mini, kind of on the longer time frame charts, but midweek this week possibly see some profit taking, and some of the risk off kind of markets might kind of follow suit. So we'll have to wait and see. Hope your trading is going well, and I'm looking forward to this week's trade.